Gotcha. So how was
I
your day?
was thrilled. I was thrilled that my wife got on
Mhm.
the meeting because she saw the broad spectrum. And then, as I've been talking about agent attraction for years and haven't done anything. So, money talks and bullshit walks.
And she got to see the broad range. That's very cool.
She got to see the broad range and she sat there. Oh, how can I get this up? She was in Realty Flow the other day. And so, bam, she found it. She got her email that's got all my logins on it and logged in and took our county and pulled up 150 names of a certain spectrum because we just spent $125, $130 for leads for the entire area, and we got 1,200 leads, but we had to pay for it. We paid for them. Now this is free.
Exactly. Yeah, for us, it's all free.
That's why I'm shifting things over, but I'm not just dumping everything, and I can't just stop everything because I have to continue on.
Yeah, you just brought up a bunch of good points there. One is the concept that you have to, if you've got a lead source, you've got to keep working it for a while. You can't just do it once and then say it didn't work. And two is looking around to see what's free that we can use first, like our KV Core or whatever tools we have, Really Flow, KV Core, whatever it is. We have a ton of free tools. And rather than spending money, it's looking and saying, okay, what do we have that's free that we can do with that until we're making money? And then once we're making money, then sure, if you need to leverage something out in whatever way, tool, system, person,
Right.
platform, whatever, then do it. But very cool.
I paid the gurus for years, and during this time frame, Gary was teaching with Keller Williams, and I was not with Keller Williams because I was with EXP, and I just feel like I had enough horsepower to recruit him. I tried to get Dan to recruit him, another Dan.
Oh, Dan. Oh, I was going to say, because Dan definitely reached out to him. It wasn't until, yeah, it wasn't until.
Not strong. Not
yeah,
strong enough. Because I had Dan.
Well, it wasn't, I mean, Gary was one of my agents. Did you know that?
No, I did not. There's a lot of things I don't know about.
Yeah, he was one of my agents, and we just were, for us, for the time, it was the right platform, and it was really good, and it allowed us, both of us, to build like crazy in the directions we wanted to go until one day it just wasn't the right platform anymore. And it was just a matter of he shifted his business model and I shifted my business model, and then it was looking around to go, what is the right platform? And when Gary called me, so I had done that in LA, and then when Gary called me, and then I'll switch over to get us going. When Gary called me, I didn't even look at the EXP platform. Gary was like, here's what I want to do. And he showed me what he was doing. And I'm like, and I knew Gary so well. I was like, yep, you were the right who. I don't really care about the rest of it. And I don't care about the rest of the stuff anyway. I just care that I'm in with the right who. Excuse me. And
it's the old song, taking care of business when you get in with the right bunch of fellows.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, I don't mean that. That's what the song was back in the 70s.
Yeah, I love them.
You
Love
get in
go.
the right bunch of fellows. It rhymes with the right bunch of people. And I think my wife really saw the right bunch of people last night. Matter of fact, we came up to the office and we discussed some of those things and the ease of it. And we talked about, she said, well, you've got so much stuff going on. I said, that's why I need your help, because the last 2 or 3 years we've been divorced in business.
Right.
She was sick. I mean, I don't need to go into all of the stuff, but 3 or 4 years, I said, get out. She was having a hard time with the duplexes that I had bought from Dan years ago for no money down. And they're just causing too much problems. I said, get out of the business because you're not bringing the right words. And so you need to take a break.
Yep,
So-
okay, let's hold there for a bit so we can get this puppy going, because you and I can talk all day, so let's get this
Have
one.
a great time.
Yep, all right, more
think
good news.
you were-
That's just good news. What's the rest of our good news? Who's got what? I'm hoping Bree shows up. I know she's got some kick butt good news, because I got a panicked phone call from her at like 9 o'clock last night, my time, so 8 o'clock her time. It was a good panic phone call though. It was like, oh my God, I need help panic phone call. So that was a good one. But so I'm hoping she shows up too. What do you guys got?
Well, I think I have a new lender, and I think he's gonna provide 100% of my financing in return for a piece of the deal, which I'm fine with. So
Cool.
I am waiting to find out if it's really gonna happen or not, and I'll know today. And I got my letter from the controller's office, which I had before and lost and had to go get another one. So I just have to get that uploaded to the Secretary of State. Then my LLC is back and functioning. And then I'm working on funding my self-directed IRA so I can get this property purchased and not have to pay tax on it. It's very complicated and my brain is swimming, but I think it's going to happen.
Awesome sauce. I love it. You just gave me an idea, because everyone's been talking about who do you know that private lends in this area, that area, this area, that area. And I got a phone call yesterday asking if I knew somebody in 3 different states, and I know one in one state, but the other 2 states I don't. I'm going to talk to Gary about like a Google sheet or something, or even just a private area in the back end of the website where we can store maybe some private lender information, what states they lend in, and contact information. Because golly, that would make life easier. So anyway, it's going on my
Look,
notes.
I don't know
I
what's
had
her-
talked about that a while ago and nothing ever came of it. So I figured maybe something just was shut down. That was a little bit before Jay Connor, or right around that time.
Well, what I'm going to tell you, I mean, I am kind of done with hard money lenders too. They're almost as bad and worse than the banks.
Some
And
very predatory. It's hard to find the good ones. Like
they're very predatory. And, I mean, this last experience, every time I turn around, they're changing the deal and giving me less money and wanting more information and more information. And
that
I
didn't
just,
happen at all with my guy.
it sucks me dry.
My guy was awesome. My guy was like, this is going to be the easiest thing you ever do. And he was right. It was sign this piece of paper, go. And that was it. I mean, it was super easy. Now, was it expensive? Yes, it was expensive, but it was beyond easy, and no deal ever got changed. And then when we were done and we paid it all off, we were like, hang on, we need you to give us this stupid extra piece of paper that the state needs, whatever the hell that was. And he was like, okay. And then he's like, I've never had to do it before. And I'm like, I don't know why. It seems silly, but whatever, please do this. And he did. And it was beyond easy. So, I mean,
Well, that's kind of the way this lady that I've been working with is portraying it, that she'll handle all that. She'll connect me. She'll get all this done. And I think it's going to be worth the money if it all works the way she says it's going to work. So I'm still holding my breath, but it's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's cautious.
So they are out there, and that is kind of a legitimate model, huh?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you think, well, I'm a private lender, but I'm not on any big scale. It's just a tiny bit, and I don't have any more to lend out. It's all out now. But it's, and I taught my kid how to do it. I'm like, it's easy. It's really easy. Here's, So I know there's some good ones. And that's what it would be nice to have a database of ones that we've personally vetted out, or we know, like the guy Gary had on the show that Karen last night was like, no, he's the real deal. And Dan, confirmed it. So those would be, he's not really private lending. He's acquiring. But anyway, I think it might be a cool thing. I'm going to talk to Gary about it today. All right, more good news. What do we got?
Craig,
You've been called out.
Where's Craig?
I mean, we're waiting here.
I
What's
just
up,
think,
Dutch?
whatever. Somebody's going to talk. I'm just going to be quiet. I learned a long time ago the power just shutting my mouth.
Oh man.
Okay.
I really I was sitting here racking my brain on some good news. I'm not. I woke up this morning. That's the best news of all.
Awesome. How's
Um,
your lead generation going?
Oh, she's
uh,
got you, Craig. She's got you.
Oh, he just went late.
Oh, the internet's going out. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I got to get back on it, you know. But
When I get off my
yesterday,
call, I'll personally look for it. I picked up. It's a
yesterday
pack.
I said that, you know, it's the second half of the year. And I can either do what I did the first half or stay the same, or I can do more the second half and grow into the person and the realtor and business person that I would like to be.
Okay, you just said something fabulous. So my son and I, we both love games. We love these really complicated, cool games. And we were talking about creating a game, but we wanted to be really different. And then my son sent me an email a week or two ago. I finally could read it last night. It's very long, about a game that was created that was along the lines of what we want to create. And he was like, Mom, somebody already did it. And I'm like, that's not a bad thing. If it's successful, we know we're onto something. We just do what we're doing that's, similar but different. But anyway, the game, instead of saying, and when people get stuck and they don't know what to do, instead of saying like, what do you want to do? Because they're stuck, right? Like, I don't really know what I want to do when I'm stuck or whatever. The question instead is, who do you want to be? And then once you know what that is, then what does that person do? Because that makes it really clear. And that's what you were talking about right there, Craig, of becoming who I want to be. So who do you want to be? And then there's your answer of what it is that you need to do.
Yeah, that's true. And it's something, I've been working on and going back and forth with, and just need some stick to itness.
When you really get the clarification of who do you want to be, I think it will drive the sticky part in and of itself. I heard another thing, I just heard it this morning and it blew me away. So I wrote it down and it said, who did you admire when you were 7, 8, or 9 years old? And because the guy said, it's said that we emulate those positive traits of who we admired at that young age. And I as soon as I was like to my husband, I'm like, Greg, was it Luke Skywalker? Was it Han Solo? Like, who was it, right? And he was like, oh, my dad, my grandfather, and Han Solo. And I'm like, and then what? And then because you can see it, and I'm like, that's cool. That's very cool. So I don't, Craig, why'd you go dark again on me, sweetheart?
Did I?
Yep.
Yes.
Uh,
Back here.
maybe because I was looking for something.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's the secret. And by the way, me working with Who Do You Want to Be just gave me clarification, because I was like, do I want to do this other program thing or do I not want to do it? And I'm like, I'm not really sure. And I'm not really feeling drawn one way or the other. I'm not really feeling drawn to it, actually. Should I anyway? Be good for me? And then I was like, who do you want to be? Oh, okay. Well, I took care of that thing. So thank you for that. Thank you for coaching me.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could be of service.
Absolutely. So hang on one second. There we go. Let's do this. Since I now figured that part out. All right. What else? What are the good news we got in here?
Good
Y'all?
morning, guys.
Good
Oh,
morning, Anna.
Morning, everyone.
Yay.
I miss you, Gina. I'm so sorry about last time. I realized I never called you back. I'm so sorry.
Stop. Don't be. You have so much going on and it's fine. It's fine.
I'm on like total survival mode. But Craig, I was thinking what could help with this is maybe treat it like a ChatGPT prompt. Who pretend to be XYZ and give yourself the steps of, okay, and you could go to ChatGPT as well, obviously, after all the reflection, and just ask it questions. Maybe it'll throw back something that will resonate with you. Um, who do you want to be as a person? And then you could put that into ChatGPT and be like, what does this person do on a daily basis? And just try to see if what it spits back out to you resonates. Because that was the hardest part for me, is what do I want to do? And then once you have the clarity, it's like you just put the roadmap together. It becomes easy, and share that vision with someone. It could be Gary, Gina. I'm more than happy to do it for you too. Just share it, and then just try to roadmap what that whole person looks like and what that person does, what that person aims to have in life. And then I sent Gina something about this life book concept a couple of weeks ago. It's basically breaking down life into, I think, 12, right, Gina? 12 different
Yeah,
components.
yeah, that was so good.
It was really, really helpful. It's like, okay, what do I want my health to be? What do I want in my personal life? What do I want my relationship to look like? What do I want my finances to look like? I can send you the template. I wrote down the different categories, and within each category, they just ask these 4 different questions of like,
Would
okay,
you
what do I
send
want?
it to us? Because I've got one, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
mine only has 8 spokes on the wheel.
I
Yeah.
had 6 originally and Anna had 12 and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great.
mine's called the Wheel of Life, but
Yep.
I need to go do that again. And so if you could send that, I would love to see it.
Yeah, here.
I mean,
Yep.
you have to give it to everybody, Anna.
Yep,
Let me go ahead and copy and paste it here.
cool.
Hopefully this template helps. It's my notes, it's chicken scratch, but when you put it together, it really helps.
It
Here.
really does. There's a concept around this also that is called self-authoring. And self-authoring is taking each one of those categories, answering those 4 questions, and then actually writing into your life what your life looks like in that arena. And it's just,
Exactly.
yep, and it's just dumping. It's literally just brain dumping. It doesn't matter if it's messy or it does not spell correctly, or it's like Anna said, complete chicken scratch. None of that matters. None of that matters. It's just dumping it down onto a piece of paper. And they've done the studies around self-authoring, and the studies are pretty amazing. Like the students that go through this, because they ran it through students university, and the students that went through it had like hugely successful lives afterwards versus the students that didn't. Like it really, you write yourself into your future. You just write it into it. And there's just something that connects in the brain at that point with, oh, Anna, you're awesome. You're so awesome. Just connect something into your brain in a different way than it does in any other way. I'm copying and pasting this puppy over because I want to save it right now. Let's go here and open up and then you also said something about, hang on, I got to save this one. ChatGPT. There's a thing called the perfect webinar. You guys ever heard of that concept?
Mm-mm.
So some guy
No.
named Russell Brunson, I hadn't either. Some guy named Russell Brunson wrote the perfect webinar. Perfect webinar is did it copy? It did not copy. Let me go again and get this thing copied. Command A. Oh, stop being stupid. Okay. Command C. Okay. Hang on one second. I apparently cannot talk and do anything at the same time. Command V. Yes, there we go. All right, back to Zoom, Gina. Okay, it's that important. I had to stop everything I was doing. So the perfect webinar is this way to set up a webinar so that people naturally say yes. And the closure rates for running this tend to run about 10 to 15%. 15% is what he said every time he does a webinar. When he does it in person, it's 50%, but 15% on Zoom. And you can use
What's this called? Webinar?
the perfect webinar with Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson, BRUN.
He's the guy behind the ClickFunnels, right?
ClickFunnels guy, exactly
Yeah.
him. So it's his perfect webinar, and he outlines the entire thing. And then I actually found one that was transcribed also. Oh, hang on, Kay, I got to get one of you muted. That was
Okay.
me. Okay, that should have it taken care of now. Talk.
Well, that
Yep.
if you had to mute me on one, it might mean my microphone is working.
Yes, your microphone would be working. So let me mute this one and let me ask to unmute that one and let's see if we can get it. Because I have a feeling that one over there is your phone and this computer is this one. Okay, so anyway, so I took the perfect webinar and the concept, and I've been working on it. And then I was like, crap, I have to do all this work to get it to go because we're building it out for Hoodle. And I just went into ChatGPT and I said, here's our product. Here's the 3 problems or the 3 things. Here's this, write me the perfect webinar a la Russell Brunson. And it kicked out the entire flipping thing. I'm like, all this work that I would have done. And I'm like, this is really good. And then from there, I'm going to toss it over to Ava, and she's actually going to build the presentation part of it. But all the talky part, that's pretty much done on this thing that looked like it was going to take me forever to build out. Forever.
Did ChatGPT already know the concept of the perfect
Yes.
webinar, or did you have to put it in?
No, I did not have to put it in. I said, her perfect webinar, write this a la, Russell Brunson's the perfect webinar. And it was like, brrr. I was like, holy,
Wow.
I know, I'm blown away. So hang on 1 second. Let me get what I actually put in for the initial prompt.
Sure.
I got to go
Oh, and
all,
by the way, there's for presentations, there's another AI tool that builds presentations for you.
what is
It's
that?
so cool. And let me tell you what it is. I was building my first time homebuyer webinar for
Mhm.
it. Let me tell you.
Well, you're
Yeah,
doing
I'll
that.
pull it up.
I said,
Yeah.
build out the verbiage, please, for the perfect webinar using Russell Brunson's methods. We need a bold promise, a hook to the end, 3 secrets you'll train on. The product is Hoodle, a revolutionary program that connects real estate agents to new construction builders that can become the go-to construction realtor in their area and exponentially increase their business without cold calling, spending a ton of money on mailings, and it works even if the builder has an agent already. That's all I put in. And then it did all of it. It did. I mean, it's huge. It's like,
Send that to us because I can't remember it.
you can't remember Russell Brunson? Okay. hang on.
No, everything you said that you
Oh,
put in
okay.
with the
All right, let me get this in here. I built this for the Hoodle one, but there is no reason why this could not be built. That was my prompt. There is no reason why this could not be built for a recruiting webinar, for why you want to use me as an agent webinar. Any of that could be built into this. You could actually do the webinar. We'll get Anna's free do the presentation, or the AI for do the presentation thing. And then that can be hosted up and sent to people before you have a listing appointment, or before you have this, or posted on social media or on a YouTube page where you're sending the link out to people. There's a bunch of ways that you could be using this. If you're on Honey Badger's app, they just announced a new thing. Is anyone here on the Rapid Funnel app for recruiting?
Would
Okay.
you recommend that, Gina?
Well, Gary and I did it, and then we just pulled all the information off of it and have it. The one thing I like, and you can probably get it with different tools, there's a bunch of stuff going on. The one thing I like is that when you send somebody out, they just made it possible now that when you send out any link, you can tell when they've opened it and how much of it they've watched. Okay, that part I really like. There's other tools that will do that as well. So I'm not married to the Honey Badger app. I do like that concept a lot. And then the other thing is, no, that's not tied with Honey Badgers. Never mind. There's a CRM Grow is another thing that somebody else was talking about, but they're like, KV Core will just do everything anyway. And it's a great platform. Why not just stay with KV Core? And I was like, yeah, it's free. It goes back to the conversation at the beginning. It's a free one that we have, might as well use it. And I don't think KV Core has that, but maybe there's something that has the capabilities that we can use Zapier to zap it over to our KV Core. I'm not sure yet. I've just started playing with the concept, and I'm debating if that's something that I want to start adding in, is that ability to see what it is that they're doing.
I would also like to get whatever Anna sent out that got her all those.
Oh, I muted the wrong one of you, Kay. The one speaker doesn't work. This one does. Okay, I'm going to ask you to unmute your phone. So unmute your phone. And okay, you also want to get the one that Anna sent out that what?
Well, where she got all those agents she recruited.
Okay, that's weird. You were muted on your computer, not muted on your phone, but there's an echo thing going on and I don't know why that is.
Okay,
Um,
hold on.
The Indeed ad that Bree did too.
Does
and Bree-
that look better? Can you hear me better now?
Yes. Yep.
Yes, much
Okay.
better.
There's an Indeed ad that Gary, if you want, Kay, book a call with Gary also, because Gary will walk you through everything with
I
the
will.
Indeed. Okay.
I would just I would just send an email to Bev and ask her to send you the template for the ads they had, because that's what Gary did. So you don't necessarily have to book a full call unless you want to. But just ask for Bev's ad footprint. I needed to call her because she was like, how did you get yours approved right away? And the thing you have to do, guys, is you have to, well, I don't know if this was available back then, but they gave me the option to do verification by phone. And that's what I did. I called the guy. I was like a real human being. He asked me a couple of questions. What do you do? What's your website? So what I would do for your website is go in there. Thank God I already had this. I hadn't thought of this ahead of time. Where if you're putting in a company name and you're trying to recruit under a company name as opposed to you as, you know, KPEC or as an individual, instead of actually leaving, giving them your KV core site, unless you have a separate one for your company that talks about what they do and everything, I would just put the company name in the bio, and that's what I did. So the guy was like, okay, what's your website? We went to the website while he was on the phone with me, and I was like, oh, look in the bio section. You'll find the reference to the Gateway to the American Dream, which is the company name that I was opening the Indeed account under. So as soon as he linked the two together, it was like the next day, he's like, okay, we'll let you know within 24 hours if there's anything we need from you. If you have any questions, let us know. If not, you know, you'll receive your approval. And so I was like, great. The next day, I opened and I saw I had 15 applications come through, and I just limited the first one to Austin. The day after, a guy called me from Indeed. He's like, I'm your account executive. I'm here to help you. I was like, oh, wow, that's so cool. So now I have an account executive for Indeed. I didn't know that's a thing for free accounts, Gina. Do you have one?
No, I don't have an account executive. I don't have that. That's flipping
Yeah,
awesome.
it's so cool. So now the guy, like, he had booked a call with me yesterday. He missed it. But then I had meetings after that, but he called me twice. It was just, he's really invested. And he's like, okay, where do you want to take this? And I was like, this is where I want to go ahead and focus on 3 separate markets. I want to recruit agents in Austin because I really need help covering that area. And I want to recruit agents separately in San Antonio, and a third one for national. And he's like,
letting
okay,
you
no
do
problem.
national?
Yeah, he said he could do national.
Can you give me your guys'
Um,
name?
Yeah, of
He likes
course, of
you
course.
best, and
But
I
he's
need
like,
some-
there's a way to set it up. He said there's a way to set it up. So I'm supposed to call the guy back. I feel so bad. I didn't get a chance to answer his call yesterday when he called back. But he said there's a way to set it up and he's gonna help me set it up. So fingers crossed. I hope that's true. And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for it because our team, I'm like, my local company is called the Gateway to the American Dream, but I'm happy to work with agents all across all states to get them into the global investor agent team. And so he's like, okay, great. But we could set up something on a national level, something on San Antonio, and something on Austin. So I'll keep you posted, Gina.
Thank you, because I get pinged every time I try and go national, and every time I tweak my ad just slightly, I get hit every single time. I'm like, nope, you're not allowed. And I'm like, son of a.
Oh, wow.
And I keep on trying to tweak it, and
You know, I think it might have to do with the fact that they've set your account with a geographical limitation. Maybe you have like a set location and they're trying to make sure you're not committing any fraudulent activities by
Right,
going
and I know
national.
that was the deal that I got slapped with so many times of you're fraudulent. And I'm like, not fraud, real thing over here.
Right.
You know? So it took a while to get past that. They were just flat out convinced I was a fraud. But yeah, I would
You
love
know,
his name and phone number.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There was a phone number. Have you ever called them?
Yeah, I have actually. And then I would get somebody and they would say, everything's completely clear, you're fine. And then I would get flagged they wouldn't open it up. And so I call the next day and go, you guys told me 24 hours. And they're like, nope, fraud. I'm like, and then I would get the next
Oh.
person. And so I kept on running across that where I would talk to people. They would say, everything's fine, you're going to be fine. And then the next day they wouldn't open it up and I was still a fraud.
I made a few tweaks to Gary's ad copy. I didn't put it exactly as is, but to be very honest, I didn't put a lot of thought into it because I was sure it's going to get rejected. Bev's email specifically says, she's like, we've never had an agent go through right away. So she's
Right.
like prepared to fight back. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do whatever comes to me. And I think it was that verification call that got me through because I just spoke like a regular person. I was like, this is
Huh.
what we do, this is the company. And so yeah, I think I lucked out. I don't know.
Cool beans. Very cool. Thank you.
I'll give you his number, love. No
So
problem.
do you have a website for the American Dream thing, or do you just have your
It's actually
real
my
estate
KV
website?
core. You know, I think one of the
Okay.
other things that helped me, guys, is that I have a vanity domain. I don't have the
Right,
I
do
don't
too.
have that anagalumian.exp realty because I think had I had that, and that's what it was getting rerouted to. And I used to do forwarding. So when you do forwarding and say you put, americandream.com, it would still reroute to anagalumian.exprealty.com. So this way I purchased a vanity domain from KV Core, and it doesn't reroute to Anagalumian anymore. It's been totally replaced by realestatetexasdream.com. And so that's the address I gave him. And on there in my bio, I made reference to forming the gateway to the American Dream Company and what it's all about and all this stuff. So make sure that those two link up to where if you're using your KV Core, unless you have a separate one for your business, if you're using your KV Core account, make sure that it at least references the company name under which you created your Indeed account, so that there's a reference to you being the owner.
Right, and I ran across that, originally they had me, it was because I was trying to recruit with Gary. And so I was connecting with Gary's, but then I had the Works coaching and they thought that I was trying to lie to get people into my coaching company where they had to pay. And it was like, no, I just do coaching. And they really had a struggle with that one because they will research you all out. So they found me and they found the connection to the Works coaching. And it was definitely one of the problems. Trying to fraudulently bring people in to sell them something when, they're looking for a job. And it's like, no. And so it was really, and then I don't own the Global Investor Agent. So that was it was just a lot of hoops to jump through. But I do have GinaHansen.com, Gina-Hansen.com. And then I have self-constructed and I have the Works one. And we finally just went with the other one. It still took me forever when I switched over to the Gina Hansen one to get Global Investor Agent off of it. Because they were just,
You can't make any mention of Global Investor Agent because it already exists.
exactly.
So you can't do that. You have to go at it from your own company.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what so those were just, some of the hoops, but I'm really glad you guys are doing this. I think it's an awesome thing to bring in extra people. I'm meeting with Bree later today to kind of walk her through, and then you just leverage your upline. So I told Bruce that I'll tell you exactly how to talk to him, and then it's really easy at the end. You're like, would you? I mean, I don't mind. Do you want to meet Gary? And yeah, because I think they're meeting like the bigwig or something like that, or anybody else in your upline. Everybody in your entire upline will drop what they're doing. Well, they won't literally drop, but you know what I mean? But they'll take appointments and have those appointments with you, and you can leverage them to bring stuff in. I've leveraged all the way up to Gene Frederick, who's like number 3 in the whole dang company, to Gary, Andre, Jay, Kinder, Albie. I would leverage Nick. He's not even in my line, but I know I could leverage him if I wanted to. Just whoever you think is going to be a good match and a good fit, leverage him. they'll more than happy to drop everything and take care of it. Andre calls me every time he gets a woman that he's like, if I get a Christian woman from Keller Williams, he's like, I call you every single time. Single time. Because the Keller Williams one in particular, because of that mindset of K-Dub, and then the talk that K-Dub just slammed EXP for many, many, many years. And to be fair, companies slam other companies. There's nothing, I mean, that just happens. But they slammed EXP for many years. And so trying to break through that mindset. I mean, so I've helped Andre a bunch, and I'm below him, like 2 levels or 3 levels or something. It doesn't matter. We just help each other. So anyway, very cool.
At the build event, to go to your point, Gina, Jay actually in his speech, he said, he's like, I am so bored. He's like, I'm so bored in Puerto Rico. He goes, just leverage me, guys. If you ever need to have an interview and you need to have a call with me, you are more than welcome to go into my website and book a call with me. And I'm more than happy to hop on. Like the guy was like, I'm bored.
I know.
Like, my calendar.
He's perfect, especially for people that are broker owners, because he was a broker owner. And people think broker owners are like, oh my gosh, like that's the thing I want to be, and I'll make all this money. You do not make money as a broker owner. You don't until your office gets maybe at least 50 agents, and probably closer to 60, 70, where you start to make some money. And if it's at 100, you're definitely making money. But prior to that, you are not making money. So all these small broker owners that that are 10 agents, 12 agents, 25 agents, that kind of thing, trust me, they are not making money. I've gone through the economics over and over and over. I ran the offices. I know what the numbers are that you need. You need 50 to break even. And that's because of what happens with your business and the staff and everything, and the licensing requirements and all the things that you have to provide in order to be a broker owner and have a brick and mortar. So they're prime people to go after. And Jay is a good person to hook them up for that situation. He's a really good person to hook them up, because they can hear it from him. He'll talk the talk.
What are the real advantages to becoming a broker versus being an agent?
I was just going to ask that specifically at EXP. I was curious.
Advantage that because I was a broker in Washington State. The only advantage and the only reason I did it was so that my business card could say broker on it, because nobody knows what the alphabets are, the CSPRES, whatever those alphabets are. Nobody knows what those are outside of real estate. I'm in real estate and I barely know what they are, but everybody knows what broker means. Everybody knows that. And so I leveraged that on my listing appointments. I'm like, are you interviewing other agents? Awesome. And they're a great agent. I'm a broker. And that's all I really needed to say. And then eventually, because I had a team, Washington State made a requirement that you had to be a broker, even though I was underneath the broker care. If you had a team, you still had to be a broker. Designated broker versus managing broker. Managing broker really ran an office. Designated broker was just you had the same schooling level. So I was one of those. I'm trying to think about it, but I already had it. So there was no issues when they passed that law. It was like, yeah, I have a team. I don't have to disband it or anything. I've already got my broker's license.
Can you be a broker and act like an agent?
Absolutely.
I don't know if I want all that responsibility.
Oh, you don't have to be a broker. I wasn't a broker. I wasn't the broker that you go. I didn't want any of that crap of, I need to know legal, blah, 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 blah. I didn't want any of that crap. All I cared about was that it was on my card. You can have all the schooling. It costs a little bit more, and there's a couple extra classes that you need to take, but that's it. And then you can put broker on your card, and it has that. I used it as a leverage piece, and I got my broker's license the second that I could. In Washington State, you have to be licensed 3 years, but your license rolls on your birthday. So I got licensed April like 20th or whatever. My birthday is May 4th. So 3 weeks after I got licensed, or 2 weeks or whatever it was, I already had 1 year in real estate as far as Washington was considered. So then I just had to do 2 more years. I was up for renewal, and I went and got my broker's license on that day.
Anna, are you a broker?
I don't think she is, because she was going to ask the same question of
Sorry, I couldn't touch the mute button. No, love, I'm not a broker. I have not been licensed long enough to be a broker. I've been doing
I'm
real
just
estate.
wondering, in Texas, I think you have to have closed a certain number of transactions as well as
It's
had your
really
license for like.
minimal, okay? I think it's like a total of 12 or something in the last 4 years. It's a joke. It's a joke
It really is a
requirement.
joke. It really is a joke of what you have.
Yeah,
to do.
I wouldn't worry about that. There is an educational component to where you would have had to take a couple of
I
hundred
know that.
hours. I think it's like 400 hours or something like that. It's the years of experience is the only one that I haven't met. Like California gives you the ability to be a broker automatically if you're an attorney. This is like a couple of years ago. So I could have been a broker in California, but in Texas, I reached out to them. I said, okay, so this is my background. Is there anything that I could do to bypass that 4 years? So she's like, your background only takes care of the education component because you've taken, thousands of hours. So she's like, if you submit your transcripts, you could bypass the education requirement, but not the years. The years are still a must. So they're really hard set on the years of being an agent. And yeah, the number of transactions, it's like, yeah, it's a joke. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so
Well, the only problem I had is when I was with Waters, I think they closed all the transactions under Chris Waters' name instead of under my name. So I don't know that I got credit for all those closings.
Oh, my friend is in Waters right now, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
Uh,
that's the problem when you can't. So I'm looking at the Texas Real Estate Commission qualifying experience report for broker license. Have to have been an agent. Oh, this is so stupid low. You have to be an agent for at least 4 of the 5 years prior to the application going in, and you have to have at least 1 transaction per year
Oh my God.
of the 5
Is
years.
that Texas?
12.
Oh my gosh.
Is
I
that
thought it was
Texas?
12.
Then they
Yeah,
have,
that's
then they have a point
Texas.
system. So your point system, your leases count towards your point system, but not very many. So, but there's a point system that they fill out. Here's the form right here. It's just, this is stupid low.
Oh, you're
Well, I
kidding,
can do
Gina. I
that.
thought it was 12.
Yeah, no, it's like, hang on, here you guys go. There's the app for the Texas one. Yeah, it's just stupid. So there's a point system, but whatever. And I don't know how the points work. They say 3,600 and points are in per transaction. There's only 30, so that would be 10. That would be 12 based upon that point system.
12 is the number that made sense to me. So
Well, it looks like 12. Commercial
Yeah.
counts, farm and ranch, all of it counts for the transactions. Commercial gives you some good points, 50 points. But anyway, but there you go. There's your thing. So it doesn't look very dang hard. It looks like you have to close at least 1 a year, but it's 12 aggregate total that they need. But you can't have gone 2 years of the last 5 without closing anything. That's
Oh,
what
that makes
looks
sense.
like.
That makes sense. So like
Yeah.
a minimum 1 per year, but then a total of
So
12.
stupid, it's so stupid low, and people freak out over the test, and it's not any, I didn't think it was any harder than doing a regular real estate test to get a real estate license. Whatever, I just really didn't think it was hard, and it gave me that extra caveat on my listing appointments, and that's really what I wanted. And then there's some benefits also. Sometimes when you move across different state lines, if you want a license in a different state, sometimes the broker has reciprocity to a degree in other states. It just really depends.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was the main part, was the caveat to be able to advertise broker.
And EXP doesn't charge you any more for being a broker, right? Than
Nope.
an agent?
Nope,
Okay.
they don't care.
Do they give you any perks at all or no?
The only perk I ever got out of it was
Is that
yeah,
marketing?
the listing thing, the marketing and the listing. Other
But you
than
know,
state law ever changes, then you're already set and ready. And you may need to check in your state if you're going to. I don't think it applies. In Washington state, to have my own team, I had to be a broker. So there might be some requirement like that, but I don't think, I think you can get around it with EXP. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if that still applies or not. I'd have to check into it, my Washington state friends, to see if that still applies.
You know, Bree was actually talking about wanting to be a broker for a reason. I can't remember what that reason is.
Property
So
management.
was it? Oh, okay. So they let you property manage.
So if you are a property manager and you're allowed in most states to manage your own personal property, piece of cake, and one other business property, many states will allow you to do that as well. But if you want to manage more than one, so 2 houses for one person or 2 people, something like that, then you have to have your broker's license. And the reason why is there's an E&O component to it. But EXP is like, you can't run it with us. You have to have a separate company, and that company has to have a real estate license hanging on underneath. But you can borrow other people's licenses for that purpose. And I know in Texas, there's definitely people that do that, because I've run across that with some of the people I brought in.
Well, I'd like more
Yeah.
information on how to do that.
Okay, so the EXP rule is, if you're going to have a separate company, which you can do in EXP, and it's completely allowed to take real estate commission, so it's gone all through the licensing recs that you need for your state. That broker, if you're affiliated with EXP, that broker must also be an EXP. So there's some people, like I know a guy who do it for our agents. You have to pay him a fee, but it's not stupid huge. Until you actually get your broker's license and can get set up yourself with that company. So I know all this because I've already done the research, because I've got a girl I'm bringing over. She's got a company. She does not want to dissolve the company. She wants to be able to keep it, run her transactions through that company, not the way Gary and I do, where EXP gets paid as the broker and then we get paid, but straight in as the broker. There's no monetary advantage. She just wants to hang on to that company and that name, and she wants to run it that way, which is fine. EXP says, or Texas state law says, because we are a company and this is a company, and we're sort of linking them together, both brokers must be EXP brokers. So we have an EXP broker for her until she gets her broker's license passed. So if that's how and that's a Texas law, not an
So that's a property management broker, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm right now I'm only doing one, and I don't want to do any more right now, but I might in the future.
Yep.
Kathy had a good question about where should we go to get current information regarding bringing a new agent to GIA EXP. And I was trying to go on last night into the GIA thing, and I can't find it either. So if you could walk us through that, that would help.
Oh, let's see where they've moved it to. Let me share my screen and see what kind of magic I can come up with. So
I mean, start from the beginning, because when I go in and trying to get into the GIA team stuff, I have trouble every time, and I know it's me, and I just need to write down the steps.
okay, so I'm starting from the beginning. My computer is moving stupid slow. I've literally clicked on my investment services. Well, let's go actually here and let's get rid of all this extra stuff, and let's go straight to my investment services and see what we've got. And then
Some things have changed.
I know he's moved a little bit of stuff around. I mean, and it's easier, but
Well, I think some of the steps have changed.
probably because of the new staff and all that. And why is this so slow, y'all?
Everything's been slow on my computer, but like I said, my whole technology is rebelling. Everything I own is not working.
Let's try this.
5G.
Wow. Okay, hang on. Are we there? Yes. Okay. So member login. Come on. It's going, but it's just going stupid slow for some reason, and I have no idea why. I wonder if it's his website that's got a lot of stuff on it and it's slowing us down. Or I wonder if it's the 8 million tabs that I have going across the top of the screen. Could be that too. It could be my fault. All right. And this is perfect because I just have a couple of minutes and I got to jump on a coaching call here in about 8 minutes, but it should give us plenty of time to get in here and find it. Wow, look at the stuff they've added in here. All right, let's run to GIA resources. Let's see if we're here. How to attract agents.
That's a campaign.
Oh, this is the campaign, isn't it? Recruiting, platform walkthrough. Well, recruiting training, Google Docs. No, that's just my video. Email. talking points and scripts for agent attraction. So there's scripts in here. All right, but that's not really, well, maybe this, well, hang on, we go back up here again. Required agent attraction webinar watches first. Recruiting documents are contained here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this takes us to the back door of all the docs. So the my how you do it, which I don't know if that's changed or not. The policies, benefits, GIA benefits, profit sharing, GIA summary, launch email, recruiting script, new agent, sign on process flow doc. Let's see what this one gives us. All right. Good news, yay. So when on a call, send them your EXP career link. So you guys know what that is, right? Your name at EXP Careers.
Yeah.
Okay, cool beans. Make sure the sponsor is the right person. So I always tell them that. The application process is in here on a YouTube. Oh, they did update it. Once it's complete, email Sugar with the name, email address, and phone number. She will email them and get additional information over to them. Then another doc is going to come, which is a signed GIA team agreement. And then once the process is complete, they're going to have their onboarding call with Sugar right here. Once she receives that doc, she's going to tell EXP that they're joining the team at EXP. Once the license is transferred, then they will get a second phone call with Sugar, et cetera. So these 4 documents have to be completed. And then there's a sponsor cheat sheet down here that just kind of walks you through signing up on the team when they're going through the application process. Okay, so that's where it is. Now, here's the important part. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Here's the important part. If you're bringing somebody on and they want to have a mentor, great, fine, no problem. EXP is going to give them a mentor. It's going to cost them an extra 10%. If you're bringing somebody on and they do not want a mentor, or you don't want to have her deal with having a mentor situation, you have got to put in there when they fill out the application that they've closed at least 6 transactions. So tell them 7 and just put that in there. They don't care so much about the dollar amount. They look at that number of transactions, and there is now a huge flag system going on where if that number is below 6, it's going to automatically assign a mentor, and there is nothing you can do about it. And I know this because I'm dealing with this with one of the agents I brought on, does not want or need a mentor. We brought her on, it's Ron's wife, Cindy, for Hoodle. We brought her on for that purpose, to build out Hoodle and be able to have access to our platform. Doesn't want a mentor, doesn't need a mentor, has a mentor screaming down her neck 24/7 about how she wants to help her do da, 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 da. And Cindy's like, I can't get this woman off my back. I'm like, just stop answering the phone calls. And Gary and I are trying to go in and get this situation taken care of with, I have a phone number. I've got a workplace conversation going with somebody trying to find out who the head of this mentor organization is, because they've just built this in, but they're like, well, there is no head. There's just different people that do different things. And I'm like,
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough because I had the same situation when I came back to EXP. And so they assigned me a mentor. And then when my mentor reached out to me, he says, why the hell do you need a mentor? You've been in the business longer than I have. And I said, well, I guess because I didn't have, the number of transactions the past year that I needed.
yep.
And he was like, well, I don't care. He was like, I don't think you even need me. So I went to my broker at the time. Well, he had just stepped down from broker. He was my team leader. And then he got in touch with the broker. And the
got it
broker was
removed,
like,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, they're not removing now. Up to,
that's crazy.
I know, up to a year ago, we just told people all the time, because the rule used to be if you were on a team, the team could mentor. That rule's gone now. And so Gary and I are we're trying to figure out who the person is to go together to go talk to them, because the situation is this. Every single person, so Gary and I had a conversation Friday, I think, about it. I'm like, Gary, every single person we've had go through the mentor process, we lose them after the first transaction because it's such a nightmare. Every single one. And I'm like, have you had anybody go through the mentor process and do 2 transactions? He's like, nope, lost every single one. I'm like, that's the documentation that we need. I'm not saying the mentor program is bad. I'm saying that I think it's awesome If you don't have a team and you're brand new, you need somebody there to work with you. I completely get it and understand it. But the rule now is that unless the team leader themselves is licensed in that state, then you cannot be the mentor. Well,
Yeah.
Gary is in 36 states. I'm in 4. I can't, like, I'm not going to license. The whole point of being an EXP is so I don't have to license in 36 states. That's nuts.
Where's
I think,
Gary's license? Where's
Huh?
Gary's license at? Is it
Gary and
Pennsylvania?
and myself are both licensed in Wyoming. Both of us are in Wyoming. Gary had a concurrent for a while in Pennsylvania and maybe Virginia. I had a concurrent in California. But I'm not going to concurrent. I'm not paying the fee for license in 36 states.
Right.
That's absolutely asinine. Nor the CE credits. I'm not doing it. So we're trying to get that taken care of. But in the meantime, if you're recruiting, just put in 7. Just put in 7. And if they still want to mentor, they always can. It's not closed to them. It's just you're not going to get someone crammed down their throat, which is what Cindy's, this person's aggressive too.
And I think you should be able to like choose your mentor. You know, they just
I don't
assign
know.
people.
Well,
They assign people, but you can get out of that person because I've talked to
Okay.
people. I know you can say, this isn't working, I want somebody else, but I don't
Gotcha.
think they can pick them.
Okay.
It's
This person, I'm asking this is because I'm bringing somebody new in. Gina, we're going to meet Friday with that person.
Yep.
And Gary is also. I have said all along that our team mentors you.
Yep.
And she's brand new. I mean, she's signed up and is just starting her classes today. So I know she's got to have a mentor.
But does she? And this is the reason why I asked, because some people, yes, they really want that. And some people are like I didn't need a mentor. And in Virginia, when I ran my office out there, we tried to institute a mentor program. And the mindset of a Virginian was like, why the hell am I doing that? And so we finally just said, screw it. We're not, if you want one, we'll sign one too, and we'll find somebody. But the problem is that if you're a big enough agent to really know your crap, then why are you going to best bet for somebody who's brand new, that's very time consuming, that you're going to get a teeny tiny bit of the transaction off of, who you don't even know? If you're not a completely altruistic person, you're going to go build your own business. If you're not that, you might not know the ins and outs well enough to be able to mentor well. So it's a really sticky, hard thing to walk through to get it to work right. And on that note, which is not a great note, I have to go because I've got a coaching call and I've got to jump on it. Do you guys want me to leave the Zoom going and I'll just like mute myself and shut out of here? And you all can keep on talking?
No, I
No,
think
I gotta run.
All right. Okay.
No.
All right. Y'all have amazing days. This was an incredibly rich conversation full of everything from ChatGPT to life wheels to this, to the perfect webinar, to not spending money on things that you have for free. So, and that's again, because you guys bring it all here. Love you guys so much. Have amazing days.
Thank you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.